head coach of the BYU women's volleyball team, a program that has gone to 5 straight Sweet 16s. Heather Olmstead back in Studio B. Hey, thanks for the shout-out for Show 1000 last week, by the way.
That.
Thanks for having us on. We appreciate it.
Hey, you know, it's a symbiotic relationship, right?
Yes.
You're really good at athletics, and a big part of why we can do a show like this.
You guys do a really good job, so we appreciate it.
The 2017 BYU volleyball schedule being released today. 30 games. Will highlight some of the big matchups and take a look at the whole schedule from top to bottom. But how would you summarize what it really takes to put together a full season schedule?
Yeah, putting the schedule together is a work in progress, and Dave Height, my assistant, did a great job helping me do that. Some of it's returns, teams that have to come return because we played at their place. Obviously, the conference is already set, but really just trying to figure out the best way to challenge our team with the right teams and the right time of year. And so it's a work in progress, and we feel like we put a good schedule together.
Football is Tom Hummel putting that together with Kalani inputting. But the other sports, it's you guys. Yep. How different is that?
Yeah, it's all on us, and depending on what we think our team needs. And so that's why I do rely on my assistants to help. And we talk about it a lot, and we try and project other teams' wins and losses and what they're going to be. And so we feel like we got a good mix of non-conference opponents that's going to help prepare us for the West Coast Conference.
Well, it starts with Ohio State jumping off of the page, a team that went to the Sweet 16. They're in Provo on August 26th. This is the vengeance match for the men the last 2 years.
And trying to beat them 2 in a row, right? You won that in 5 dramatically or something?
We did.
Remember that correctly?
Yeah, Ohio State coming to Provo is such a great, exciting match because the match there really propelled us into kind of finding out who we were going those 5 sets. It really changed some things in our kids' minds and was really a positive. And so although it's first weekend and it's early, Jeff does a great job with his squad. And what it does is it allows us to play a team from a different conference, the Big Ten, who's really good, and lets us see where we're at and what we need to get better at and how we match up. And so we hope people go to the football game at 1 and then come see the volleyball game at 7 that night.
Make it happen. Hey. Part of the BYU Invitational
yes.
You're hosting with a couple other teams, St. Louis and UT Rio Grande Valley.
Yep.
Portland State that day, the opening football game. The next week you play in Boise, and you play one of those games against Missouri. They were a Sweet 16 team as well, if I understand.
So what we have actually is we have 4 teams that were playing that won their conference, and Missouri was one of them in the SEC. Boise State won their conference. UT Rio Grande Valley won their conference, and then Hawaii won their conference. And so every team is going to be challenging, but we get to play Missouri and Boise State and Sac State and Boise, and that's going to be great.
At Hawaii on September 7th.
Always tough.
That's always an interesting trip. How do you manage that long-distance trip and go up against the conference champion?
Yeah, so that trip's going to be a fun trip because we have some local kids that are going to go home and play in front of their family and friends. And so that'll be good. We get to play Hawaii first, which they have a new head coach. So this is a new kind of era for them where Dave Soji retired and Robin Amo is going to be taking over, who is an Olympian setter for USA. And I talked to her last week, and we were already teasing each other about just kind of going after it Thursday night. And she's super pumped to see what her team can do and excited about their future. And so Baylor's going to be tough there in the Big 12, and also Nevada's doing a really good job.
Dave Shoji's 2 kids, Kavika and Eric, are teammates on Team USA with Taylor Sander, Ben Patch, Jake Langley. So there's the connection.
Yep.
At Utah, September 14th. That's always a big one.
Yeah, always a good match. Beth does a great job with her team, and so we'll have a lot of matches before that to prepare us. And when that one comes up, our kids will be ready, and it'll be fun.
Conference play starts on September 21st. You were not picked as the team to beat last year, so you didn't have that proverbial target on the back. What do you anticipate will be the West Coast Conference projection for BYU volleyball this year when play starts on September 21st?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's tough to know. We lost, obviously, 4 players, two really good middles, All-Americans. And so I don't know what people are going to think about our team. It's always, every year, it's, well, what are you going to do without Jen Hampson? And, you figure it out. Well, what are you going to do without Alexa Gray? And you figure it out. Now it's, what are you going to do without Amy Boswell and Whitney Young? And it's like, we have kids that are ready to step up. I don't know what people are going to think about us, but I hope, our kids just worry about what we think about ourselves and get to work.
So you have extreme confidence in your ability to replace those players given the last couple of years, I think.
Yeah, every year it's a new challenge. There's kids that graduate, and there's players on our team that are ready for that opportunity. They've been training, that have been on our team, and so also new kids. And so the door's wide open for a lot of positions, and I think it's going to be fun to see them compete.
Has going to the Sweet 16 5 straight times, how has that benefited you in recruiting? Has that opened doors that maybe weren't as open previously?
I think it's put us on the map, at least in the country of teams and coaches knowing, that we're pretty serious about volleyball. Recruits know that we have a good tradition of volleyball. They know, the history of being to 2 Final Fours. And so it does help for sure with recruiting, but it also helps just for our recruiting classes. And when those come out, those rankings, I think it just gives us a little bit more, okay, BYU is serious about volleyball.
Yeah, by the way, BYU with a 13th best recruiting class, I believe, according to Volleyball Magazine,
Yep.
which is
that's legit.
an outstanding testament of what you're doing with your coaching staff. You start conference play 5 of 6 on the road in the West Coast Conference slate. Does that bother you that you have to be on the road for such a long time early in the WCC campaign?
No, I love it. I think the conference schedule is what it is. You have no control over that. So what we do is we look at it and we say, hey, this is what's going to happen once we get into conference. So how can we stay at home as much as possible? We're staying close at Boise State, and then the only real far trip is Hawaii, knowing that we're going to travel. And I think what it does, it allows our team to bond pretty early because we're spending so much time together and really find out who we are and get tested. And then, at the end, we're home, all these matches, but we really have to take that serious too, because you don't want to just think that means you're automatically going to win because you're at home. We love going on the road. We love tough situations and adversity. And so our girls are going to really, work hard on the road to see what we can do.
That's the good part. 6 of the last 8 conference matches on your home floor.
Yeah.
Emily Lewis was on the show on Saturday in Corona, and she said that she's competing with Mary Lake for libero. Truth to that?
Emily Lewis is such a team player. She will do anything we ask of her. And so, although I know she would do it, Mary's got some tough competition already, so I don't think we'll move Emily there.
Okay.
What's the tallest libero you've encountered? Because I remember UC Santa Barbara had a kid named Austin Kinchy. He was a 6'5" libero a couple years ago, and I was like, that's the tallest libero I've ever seen.
That's a good question. I can't name anyone, but I know there's some teams that have kind of outside hitters turned bros who are kind of 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot. So that's ideal if they can jump up and get some balls, but mostly they're teeny.
Did you call it bros?
Yeah,
Turned bros.
Sorry.
I like that.
Yeah.
Mary Lake is the
She's
bro.
a bro.
She's a bro.
Emily Lewis is right now an opposite/middle blocker, maybe turned bro.
Turned bro, yeah.
Heather Olmstead, the head coach of BYU women's volleyball, with us in Studio B. How much chess moving in terms of the pieces on your team are you doing right now? Do you feel like you have a pretty good grasp on who you want where at this point?
Yeah, I think one of the things about this team is they did such a good job this spring of getting better. Everything we wanted to get better at, we did. And so I think that's going to happen this fall. So we kind of know a little bit about our team, but with 3 new kids coming in, they'll be here shortly for summer school. That changes a little bit. Where are they going to fit in? What do we see? And then we'll kind of go from there. But spring provided us opportunity to see our team. We know what we need to get better at. So I think there's some pieces that need to be filled, but we feel like we have a good idea of what pieces those are.
Heather Olmstead, the head coach of BYU, with us in Studio B. By the way, when are you having your volleyball camps for those that are interested?
Yeah, we have them starting July 10th. It's a 4-day, and then it's a 2-day the 14th and 15th. And then we have another 4-day on the 17th of July, and then a 1-day on the 21st. And so the 2-day and the 1-day are still open. The 4 days are full. So
Awesome.
I would imagine BYUCougars.com is a good place to go if you have any
Check
questions
it out.
for that.
Yeah,
And there's
we love our campers.
Sports camps website
Yeah.
as well, I think. Yeah.
Good stuff. Heather, let's give you some BYU Sports Nation karma to survive the summer.
Yeah, we'd appreciate it.
You get some vacay here soon?
Yeah,
Yeah?
summertime.
You on vacation right now, sort of?
Yeah, I'm talking to you guys. Can we get a countdown for our season? Like
Countdown
I mean,
to the
because
volleyball season.
we're 81 if football's 82, right?
We could throw in.
Yeah.
Because they play
Friday,
one.
Right?
Yeah, we play Friday. So
Yeah.
can we get a
Wait,
countdown?
how about we count down to the it's
No,
not
we-
the
we-
Ohio State
we
match,
need
it's
St.
the
Louis.
next
St.
day.
Louis.
Yeah.
Ohio State is 82 days.
You don't want, you need St. Louis? Is that what you
Yeah, we open. St. Louis is on
need.
our mind. Yeah, it's on my mind.
81
Yeah,
days
at the forefront.
for volleyball.
Thank you.
Okay, hey, we'll
We
see what we
should
can
record
do.
you saying every one of those numbers, so when we do it, it's like, hey guys, -1 on that. Come on.
Don't forget about us.
You know it. We brought you in here.
Oh, good stuff. Heather, we're excited about the season, as I'm sure you are, and your team. We wish you the best of luck.
81 days.
Thank you,
Till
guys.
this opener.
Thank
Did you
you.
know that?
Yeah, for those
Spencer?
wondering.
81 days.
81 days away from BYU in St. Louis and the
We're all-
BYU
we're all
Invitation.